on, Skeet. Good boy. Well, good morning from the off-grid cabin. It was good to get back here. I haven't been here in a couple weeks. I got here kind of late in the evening last night, so just lit a fire, hung out a little bit, and then got some sleep. Sierra and Stanley are gone for a couple days, so it was a good time for me to come up here and get a few things done. Today I'm going to go do a hike in the Boundary Waters. It'll be a pretty big day. It's about a 13-mile hike. You know, that's a big reason why we bought this land and built this cabin here, because it's so close to the Boundary Waters where Sierra and I spend a lot of time. Got your game face on, Skeeter? Well, here's my entry point. It's not plowed. There's not a whole lot of snow in there, maybe a few inches. So I just got to get past this berm. I don't have a shovel with me, but I'll use my snowshoe, get rid of this berm, and we should be able to rally the van in there. All right, I should be able to get in there now. All right, I drove up and down this a little bit to pack it down so I can get out of here when I'm done. But we are in, so let's hit the trail. Giving Skeeter some raw beef for breakfast. I'm gonna have a look at this trail quick. I was hoping I wouldn't need snowshoes, but it did snow a little bit, so I may need them. I think we're good without them. Obviously, we'll be the only people for miles out here, but we got everything we need. I just gotta grab my pack, fill out the permit, and we'll be on our way. I know you don't like these, buddy, but you need them. He does not like those, but he needs them because he'll get snow caked between his pads on his paws. Then it becomes really painful for him, and then he'll just stop and start chewing his paws the whole time. So those will keep the snow out from in between his pads. We're in. It's going to be a long day, but it'll be good exercise, and I mean, you can't beat the scenery. It's also supposed to get to like 40 some degrees today, so it'll get warmer as the day goes on. This is perfect. Fresh blanket of snow. Any animal tracks that we see will be fresh. So a lot of wolves in here. I've been in here before. A lot of wolves, a lot of moose. So we'll see what we come across. Pretty. There's the lake up there. Continue on up the mountain up here. There's a lake a few miles up ahead called Whiskey Jack, and that's kind of where I plan on stopping and taking a little break, getting some food in me, getting Skeeter some food. This is pretty cool. All the snow's melting and running off here and then freezing. There's black bears out too. One got hit just up the road from us a couple days ago, and people have been seeing them. I highly doubt that we'll run into one, but they are out apparently. Look at these tracks right here. You can see them. Nice and smooth. Ready? Like it's sliding on its belly. Those were otter tracks. Pretty cool, nice treat. Here we go, here's some moose tracks. You can see them, they're far apart. They're not from today, but they could have been from like last night or something. Which, as I've been hiking, I could hear something back in the woods. Something bigger, I don't know if it was a moose or a deer, or it could just be a smaller animal. Sometimes things sound bigger in the woods, but I feel like I hear it running away, and then as I continue on down the trail, I like bump into it again and it keeps going, so. Whiskey Jack Lake, pretty little lake. Well, I'm continuing on. There's about a 15-minute stop. I just had some beef jerky and some water. It was actually chilly sitting there with the wind coming off the lake, so wanted to get moving, get warmed back up. I had to put my flannel back on. Looks like some fox tracks maybe. Well, I'm definitely starting to feel it, but every step is a step closer. And yeah, you just can't beat the scenery. It's a beautiful day today. It's probably getting close to 40 degrees now. We're close, a couple more miles. I'm surprised I didn't come across any wolf tracks. Of course, the snow is pretty fresh, but every time I've been out here, there's been all kinds of wolf sign. We made her. Nice. Well, I made it back to the homestead. That was a pretty fun hike. I've always wanted to do the full loop, so I got to see some new territory. It was a lot of fun, and I was the only person out there for miles, so kind of like that sort of thing. But it is officially mud season here. I'll show you what our driveway looks like. So as you can see, we're starting to tear up our driveway pretty good. The ground gets so soft, you know, when all the snow starts melting. And the last couple days, it's been in the mid-40s, so it doesn't take much for this to start getting torn up. So this was a simple little homemade drag that I made. I don't think I showed it last year, but I made it last year and it works really well. But yeah, I just made this out of scrap lumber and designed it so that I can put a couple cinder blocks in there or rocks to give it some weight. So if you can see them, I got some bolts going through that board on the front, so that kind of chews up the ground a little bit, and then these boards follow behind it and drag it out nice, makes it nice and smooth. And then you just pull that thing behind a four-wheeler or a lawn tractor in my case. But as you can see, it works fine. This is a lot better than it was. It was probably a little too soft to be dragging it. I'd have liked it a little bit more firm, but it's a lot better than it was. So now once the frost is out of the ground, the water will be able to drain actually, and then it'll remain smooth. But this area here, we're gonna make this a gravel pad this year. But since I have to fix our main road anyways, and I'll have that Mini X for a while, might as well bring in some gravel right here too and knock that out while I have the machine. So I picked up that little lawn tractor super cheap because I kind of need something to pull with right now, especially because pretty soon here I'm going to need to start getting a lot of supplies back to the log cabin, so I can just pull a trailer behind that, get everything back there rather than having to carry everything through the woods. I do have the mower deck for that thing too. So it's kind of a cold, gloomy morning this morning, but we're gonna take Stanley for a little drive and just drive around in the van heat and get him to fall asleep. He started teething, so he's getting a little cranky here and there, but we'll drive around. Usually he falls right asleep in the van, and then Sierra and I can just enjoy a nice little drive, have some coffee, and look for wildlife. So the nice thing about northern Minnesota where we live is the amount of public land that there is. I mean, pretty much all of northern Minnesota is national forest, so you have these forest roads that you can drive down. I mean, they go for just forever, way back in the woods, and all the woods that you see, it's all public land, so you can camp on it, you can fish the lakes, you can hunt it, you can hike it. And you could spend a lifetime exploring these woods up here, even just around our house like this, and you wouldn't even scratch the surface. I mean, there's just so much untouched woods to explore and check out. All this was just recently logged. Anywhere you drive in the national forest, you're going to run into logging. I mean, this is where they do it. All right, we got the baby sleeping, so mission accomplished. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I kind of wanted to share a little bit about, what we do for fun in our free time. And, a big reason why we live up here and live this sort of lifestyle is, we have all these things kind of right out our front door now. Just endless woods to hike, fish, hunt, explore. And anytime we're not working on something, we're either camping or out in the woods doing something. And, the homesteading thing and just living simply, like building your own place and heating with wood, all that is kind of that opens up the door for us to do these kind of things and just keep life simple and allows us to enjoy our free time doing what we love. But this is right now my least favorite time of year. I hate springtime. I mean, it's nice because the weather's getting warmer. That's great. But everything is just so muddy and dirty. There's still frost in the ground. So, you have like standing water everywhere. Because there's frost, you can't really like build anything quite yet. So it's kind of just this in-between season where you're kind of stuck inside. And then Skeeter and the cat are going outside all the time and getting muddy. And I don't know, it's usually a week or two of this. And then once the frost gets out of the ground and the water can drain, then the ground starts stiffening up a little bit. And then it's a little more fun to be outside. But looking at the forecast, it's looking promising. All the lakes still have ice up here, a lot of ice actually, but the weather looks good, so the ice should start melting, ground should start really thawing now, and it shouldn't be too long before we can start getting some yard work done. So stay tuned for that. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next video.